Doug, you've picked out a few horses that we're going to track throughout the course of the carnival. Let's kick things off with Polar River. Boy, she was impressive last time.
She was. We knew she was good at home. She'd been working with another filly, and pretty much all over her the whole time. And then when we got her to the races, you never know until you get them to the races. She had done everything right. She's very straightforward. And when she pulled away in the straight, we all kind of got excited. And hopefully she can compete well in the Guineas and the Oaks. And that's what we're hoping for.
Watching that race back, she had to use a little bit of sort of energy up early just to get to the lead. She had a little bit of pace pressure as well, but that finishing burst was phenomenal.
She's got a great turn of foot. When Pat rides her work, he just says she just has different gears. You just grab a hold of her and she just picks up again. So I don't think we are going to have to be on the lead. We'll just see how the races unfold as we go along. Obviously, the Godolphin fillies are nice, and I think Mike DeCock has a nice one from South America, and I don't know what's shipped over for the carnival, but we feel pretty good in our position that really this is the first time I think we can actually compete with the Godolphin fillies and Mike's fillies, so hopefully we can.
And having a look at her here, it's nice to get up close and see them sort of 5-10 metres away. Yeah. She floats over the surface.
She does. She loves the surface, and like I said, she's bred to go. She won over 6 furlongs and won nicely, and but she's bred to go a lot further. So I think the step up in trips won't be a problem for us.
So the 3 races: Guineas Trial, Guineas, and Oaks.
That's what we're shooting for right now.
Tell us about Layle, Doug.
He's a nice horse. We started last season with him off about 87, and he won his first start. Hadn't run in a year. And then we put him on a pretty hectic schedule to get to World Cup night. He just kept improving, just kept running well. And then, when we got to World Cup night, we drew 15 over a mile, which is, almost impossible from out there. I think Mike's horse did it the year before. I can't think of his name off the top of my head now, but that was also on the Tapeta. But it's very difficult. Pat rode a great race on him. He turned in, looked like he had a chance, but he had to use so much early to get that position that he didn't finish off the race well. He summered well. Was a bit disappointed in his return, but there's been a few this year that the first time over there that they've been a little bit disappointed. I think he'll improve a lot. We'll shoot for the early mile races, and he's possibly one we could stretch out, but I think the ultimate goal will be to get off a mile again with a better draw.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I spoke to you actually at a non-carnival meet sort of a couple of weeks ago, a month or so ago. You said that you found that a lot of your horses had been needing a run. Therefore, have you seen improvement in Layle from sort of first run to now?
He's an unbelievable workhorse. When you work him out here, we don't even work him in company because he's just so fast on his own. We try to get him to do a little less than he actually wants to do in his work. He's worked well since the race, but he worked very well up to the race too. I just think he was a bit, the first time out, normally he jumps from the gate and he's pretty handy and he pulls you up there, and he was a bit lethargic, and that's more than worrisome than getting a little tired, but I think he'll improve off of that.
One Man Band is a talented horse. Has he given you not a headache, because maybe a headache, but a nice headache in terms of sort of ultimately what his ideal will be?
It's a tough try. We want to try to stretch him out because he won his maiden over 1900. He does well going forward in the races. It's going to get tougher as we get into these better races to get that, not easy lead, but just to be forward without having to use too much to get there. So I think, we'll start him off a little bit longer in the carnival, I think 1900, and then just see how he goes, and whether we have to back up and go back to a mile, I'm not sure, but hopefully we can go forward that way.
But he should run out the 1900.
He should run it out. He if you watch his maiden when he won, obviously a lot lower class than what he'll be running against.
He hit the line well.
But he broke horribly, rushed up, was ranked, drug Pat around there. Pat finally got him settled, turned in, and then just pulled away. I think he won by 5 or 6 lengths in his maiden going 1900. I don't think it's a problem staying. It's just the company that he's going to have to run against now. We'll just see if he stays against that company.
Ed Dunlop had a horse in England called Zarwan, who you've got now.
Yeah.
Sheikh Hamdan owned. Very unlucky, actually, on a number of occasions in the UK, but an attitude to die for.
Yeah, he's a lovely horse to train. Taking a little bit time to come. His coat's come nicely now. Had his first piece of work not too long ago. Likes the surface in his works. I don't know where we'll start him the first time, but he's definitely one to look forward to. 7 to a mile, I would think, would be his trip. and hopefully we'll probably see him out in late January or February.
I was speaking to Paul Hannigan about the horse. He's mentioned it in a sort of similar piece we've done. Turf is obviously what he's used to.
Yeah.
Would you be would it be an option to go on the dirt?
It would be. It's tough at this time of year to, we'd have to see what else we have in the race and what else is running. I mean, I'd probably enter a couple times in the dirt just to see, but it's hard to. He'll have to show us a lot in his work, which we'll be stepping it up over the next couple weeks and see what he's got. But I'd be leaning more towards turf at the moment, just because it's a surface he's used to. Hopefully he'll have the summer off after. We might get him a start, but he'd have the summer off, and we can start him in some races early next year before the carnival on the dirt. But he moves across it fine, but I don't know if we'd experiment this year or not. But we'll just have to see how he goes.
I know. A sort of caveat to this is that he was unlucky, but he seemed to benefit off a strong pace in England. Will he get that? Is this sort of tempo of races going to be run to suit out here on the turf?
I think when you get to those mile and a quarter races, some of those slow down. He's going to be more 7 and a mile, and they do go a nice pace in those races. And those longer races on the turf at Maiden, they seem to try to slow it down in front. But the longer or the shorter races, 7 mile, they seem to go a nice tempo that I would believe he would get the pace to finish off of.
So from an ex-Ed Dunlop runner to an ex-Richard Hannon runner, Shamal Nibras, really big strapping sort.
He's a strong horse. He's a real nice horse too. He's owned by the ERC Syndicate, and they bought him out of a March sale a couple of years ago. He had a nice season for us last year. We kind of missed the carnival with him. This year our plan is to go to the Jebel Ali Mile, where he runs very well. We're going to go there fresh towards the end of January, and then we're going to come back in the carnival over a little like 1,800 or 2,000 on the turf. That's what our plans are. He looks like he's a horse that, we ran him over 7 last year on the turf, and it's just too sharp for him there. Up the hill over a mile, it probably plays like, for the Jebel Ali Mile, it probably plays like 1,800 meters anyway, because it's a steep hill. So we'll come back over on the turf, but we look forward to him getting to the carnival, but hopefully we can win the Jebel Ali Mile first.
As a general rule, do you find that these horses that come over sort of for their first preps out here, is the adaptation instantaneous, or does it take a bit of time?
It usually takes a little bit of time, especially those horses that come in November and December. It takes them a while, first of all, to get used to our track training on, because most of them have trained on different surfaces, and it's a little harder probably to get through a dirt surface like this. So they often take a couple weeks to really get used to the track. We try to go easy with them to begin with, just to get them used to it, and then once they get used to them, we'll treat them like every other horse, and hopefully get them going for the carnival. But most of those ones that came in December, we're probably pointing more towards back end of the carnival than we are the beginning.
Right, I can't let you go without asking about my favourite horse.
Yes.
My Catch.
Yep.
I promise you I'm going to follow this horse over a cliff. Come the end of March, am I going to be a rich man or a poor man? What's going to happen?
He's a tricky horse to train. He has his own ideas out here in the morning, but he works really well, and I was extremely pleased with his first run on the dirt. You never know, like I said, with Zarwa, if they're going to take to the surface. He did very well. I mean, he always trained well on it, but we just never really had the opportunity to run him on it. I'm glad we did. He should hopefully progress to the bigger sprint races throughout the carnival, and if he behaves like he did the first time running, I think you're all right. I think he'll have a nice carnival.
Phew. I look forward to following him.
Very good.
Doug, thanks for your time again.
No problem.
Listen, best of luck with all those horses.
Thanks.